You're driving a Volkswagen Beetle, one of the foremost iconic and cherished cars in the world. You're feeling the wind in your hair, the sun all over, and the bliss of flexibility and experience. You're a portion of a worldwide community of Volkswagen fans who share your energy for this peculiar and charming vehicle. But do you know the dull and exasperating part of this car? A past that includes one of the foremost fiendish and infamous figures in history, Adolf Hitler. A past that includes slave labor, concentration camps, and war wrongdoings. A past that Volkswagen has attempted to cover up, deny, and disregard. This is often the story of how Volkswagen went from being Hitler's dream to hippie's enchantment, and how it overcame its despicable roots to gotten to be one of the most successful and regarded car brands in the world. The thought of a people's car, or Volkswagen in German, was not unused. It has been around since the daybreak of mass-produced cars as a way to create automobiles that are reasonable and open to the masses. However, it was Hitler who made it his individual mission to make a car for German individuals as a portion of his vision of a predominant and affluent country. He needed a car that was basic, reliable, and cheap, that could fit 2 grown-ups and 3 children, and could run at 100 km/h. He too needed a car that looked particular and cutting edge, that would encapsulate the soul and control of the Third Reich. He commissioned Ferdinand Porsche, an eminent builder and architect, to make a model of the Volkswagen. He endorsed the generation of a car and indeed gave it a title, the KDF Wagen, which stood for Strength Through Joy, a motto of the Nazi administration. He too declared a reserve funds plot where standard Germans seemed to purchase stamps and spare up for their own car. Millions of individuals marked up, trusting to claim their claimed KDF Wagen. But there was a capture. None of them ever got their car. The money they paid was utilized to finance the development of a gigantic manufacturing plant in Wolfsburg, where the KDF Wagen was assumed to be manufactured. But before long as the plant was completed, in 1938, Hitler requested it to switch to military generation to back his war endeavors. The manufacturing plant got to be a location of frightfulness and brutality, where thousands of constrained laborers, generally detainees of war and concentration camp prisoners, were misused, tormented, and murdered. The KDF Wagen was never mass-produced for German individuals. As it were, a number of hundred were made, generally for Nazi authorities and purposeful publicity purposes. The car that was gathered to bring delight and success to the Germans got to be an image of persecution and genocide. After the war, the production line was in ruins, and the car was nearly overlooked. But a British officer, Major Ivan Hurst, saw its potential and chose to restore it. He convinced the British military government to take over the factory and continue the generation of the car, which he renamed the Volkswagen Type 1. He moreover hired a previous Nazi, Heinrich Nordhoff, to run the factory and manage the commerce. Nordhoff proved to be a visionary pioneer who changed Volkswagen from a war-torn antique to a worldwide marvel. He made strides in the quality and proficiency of the car and extended its advertising to other nations, particularly the US. He too enlisted a brilliant publicizing office, DDB, to form a campaign that would alter the picture and recognition of the car. They came up with mottos like "Think Small" and "Lemon" that played on the car's measure, shape, and flaws and turned them into ethics. They moreover requested the rising counterculture of the 1960s, who grasped the car as an image of singularity, inventiveness, and rebellion. The Volkswagen Insect got to be a cult classic, a pop culture symbol, and a best-selling car. It propelled eras of drivers who adored its identity, charm, and effortlessness. It also spawned other models, just like the Volkswagen Transport, the Golf, and the Jetta, that broadened and reinforced the Volkswagen brand. But Volkswagen's victory did not delete its past. It took decades for the company to recognize and apologize for its part in the Nazi administration and the Holocaust. Moreover, it confronted unused scandals and challenges, such as the Emanation's cheating embarrassment in 2015, that discolored its notoriety and validity. Volkswagen had to reevaluate itself once more and grasp modern innovations and patterns, such as electric and independent vehicles. Nowadays, Volkswagen is one of the biggest and most compelling car producers in the world, with a faithful and energetic fan base. It has overcome its exasperating history, but it has not overlooked it. It has learned from its botches and endeavors to be a mindful and moral company that values its customers, employees, and the environment. Volkswagen's story could be a story of resilience, recovery, and innovation. It could be a story of how a car can alter the world for superior or for more awful. It could be a story of how a car can reflect the leading and the most exceedingly bad of humankind. It could be a story that can motivate you to think enormous, act little, and drive your dreams.